We will not copyright or trademark that. We do not have the rights to this at all. Please do not sue us. Thank you.
Welcome to These Unprecedented Gays, featuring Joe Granelli and Paul Smith. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and review wherever you stream your podcasts. Check us out on Instagram at TUGaysPod and email us at tugayspod@yahoo.com. We hope you enjoy. Yeah, nice cocktails, a little overpriced, but like their wallpaper has like people in different sex positions. So
my favorite.
Okay,
we have that on our picture somewhere.
I do.
Can we wallpaper your bathroom with that?
I would love that.
We should start recording because this is good.
Oh, it's been recorded.
I know. He already hit record. I knew that.
Damn, you are sneaky today, you sneaky little
is.
devil. Souffle over there, rising up.
I'm Paul.
I'm Joe.
And we're These Unprecedented Gays.
God, I didn't even know.
I know. How was your week, Joe?
Well, I'm still kind of like, I need to like unwind on the fact that we were doing something and I didn't know.
Oh, you were bamboozled?
I was gooped.
Okay.
My week was, pretty standard. Back to work and just trying to not get flooded by this rain. I feel like running errands is not fun right now just because, like, I had to go get, what did I have to get this morning? Half and half from Smart and Final. Oh, dear. And
our engineer almost knocked everything over.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a long cable.
Come on, long cable.
Oh, is he going to jump rope? Let's see what he jumps.
He's good.
So I had to go to Smart and Final. It was pouring rain. And then I was like, maybe I don't need to go anymore. So I stayed inside. Not really much. What about you?
That's fine. Back to work. But we never talked about the Gay Men's Chorus Christmas concert jingle.
Oh, and we didn't talk about our little adventure in Petco Park.
I know, with the Christmas market. So, how did you guys like this? The show.
Well, I was in it.
Right.
I would ask you how you liked it. I think for like the chorus itself and being in it, I think it's the best that they've ever sounded.
Yeah,
Sounded?
Yeah.
Just like more like it was just a great show, and I think it was fun, and the audience was really like engaged. A lot of the songs that I didn't like, everyone else loved, like the country western song, which I despised.
Right.
And Nick loved that one.
I didn't even saw Paul stand up to do it.
I did get up when they asked us
sat
to, and then I
down.
sat down.
Well, no, the minute I saw you and Andy, I was like, I know who I'm performing for. And I like,
You did.
I did. I was like, I see them, even though the lights are dark and I can't see them. I know where they are, and you're getting face, body, and choreography.
Body, yada, yada.
Right? But it was fun. I think that it was different, unique, and it was a change, and it was something new, and so I think it was received well. Did you guys enjoy?
It looked like you guys were having a lot of fun up there.
don't.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, it was the best.
It was really good. It was the best
we've
one
ever
we've
heard
had.
sound.
Yeah.
Except the one guy whose voice broke, but it was karma because he's a little bitch.
We will leave him nameless.
It was
there could be anyone in the 200 singers that I was talking
You think
about.
your voice broke during that concert?
we could be talking about you.
Write us at TUGaysPod.
No.
I appreciated it was that like the chorus a lot of times has this tradition of well we do it this way,
Right.
and this show really was like a very different, like it was a different direction.
Right.
Everything on stage was different. How
I thought
band was,
everything that
like-
was staged the way it was great. How you guys came off the risers, got back on the risers.
Yeah.
The only thing is you should have worked on that, moving back to the risers.
I put that in my like follow up was like, hey, this was new to us, and it was clearly visible on stage that none of us were. This was
Right,
so
because
new.
you should never,
It was just like
ever turn your back on the audience.
Anyway,
Especially when you're singing.
it's a
But
work in progress.
But I did really love the moving around, and like some people who are usually on the end or in the back had
Yeah.
an opportunity to be in the front. And
Joe was in the front. He had to learn his music for that song.
Yeah,
It's so
That close to
terrible.
The audience made it more intimate, and being off center and having the band next to you.
Yeah, I
Really
loved having
cool
the band
touch.
on stage. That was fun. That was great. So,
New direction for the chorus.
So you enjoyed.
Oh my God, your new directions.
Our next
When
show
did we
is,
turn our backs to the
British,
audience?
So British pop.
First song, you guys were down on the floor, and then you had to walk back onto the
Oh,
risers.
yeah. And so instead of us like walking back, like facing, the
Yeah, you
audience
guys
and
couldn't do it backwards if you.
Girl, you think we couldn't even walk to our places with turning around?
Right, because people are like, I gotta get through here. Let me get through.
It's like Daniel Bedingfield. I got to get through this.
I think that was the one critique.
I gotta make it to the risers.
Which was, hey, we could have strategically planned this to be like, if this is your spot and this is where you're going,
Right, you could have done a funnel. Yeah,
so that at least it looks elegant rather than just like
everybody. Yeah,
I was about to drop kick a bitch.
It was a stampede back when it should have been a funnel.
And everybody on stage literally had the mindset that it was every man for themselves.
Exactly, because that's what it felt like.
That's how it was.
Like, man down over here. Like, we don't care.
It was chaos. Yeah.
It was fun.
Well, no, I had a great time, and it was great to see everybody. You guys did great. And
you got us flowers.
I know, and you said it was the first time you've ever got flowers
Ever.
before.
And it was so funny because like the delivery flower person or whatever, who I don't know what they're called. Flower
We
delivery
had to
person?
give it to like security guard because he was like, I don't know what to do with this.
Oh,
Like,
well, they came down and they're like, Joe and Nick. And I'm like, what? And they're like, flowers. And I was like, who? Me? I'm Joe. That's Nick. And then it was like, Joe, Nick. I was like, that's us? And I was like, oh! I was touched.
How's it go?
What?
How's it go?
I was like, wait, what happened?
No, it was like, and it was good because we even wrapped it in like a little bit of like wrapping paper to make it look more
I know.
fancy.
Wait, did you guys make those?
I
No,
grew them.
yeah, he did.
You know what? They looked like they were from your garden.
And we walked around backstage, like holding them, smelling them in the different dressing rooms. Be like, oh,
Look at this.
We're so loved.
And then I looked at people and I was like, you didn't get shit, bitch. I didn't do that.
You could have.
I would have. Oh my god, I would love to do that. Like just like no filter. Just
Yeah.
like go off on people. Go off, sis.
So, and then we did the Christmas market at Petco Park here
at
in San
Petco
Diego. It was an event.
There were Christmas lights.
There were Christmas lights. There were lights.
It was cute. I think I've never been there, and it was just like definitely more family oriented, where they have like
Yes.
a bunch of like cool like picture opportunities with all the lights.
I would not call it a Christmas market. And
Why?
that's my only thing. Like, because I didn't feel like there was enough vendors there to actually dictate a market. Because like if you go to New York and you see like Bryant Park and
That's a Christmas.
that's a Christmas market. Like, but this was more like, okay, here's a couple of areas where you can take Instagram-worthy pictures and be with your family and maybe a Christmas card.
And they did not need to charge $20 a head.
They did not need to charge $20 a head for me to go in and not do anything, and then make me spend another $20 on a beverage.
Oh yeah,
The drink. Wait, did you guys get a drink?
No, but
Okay.
it was like that's why, because it's $15 to $20 to get an alcoholic beverage.
Oh no!
And I was ready to buy a raclette sandwich, and I'm like, do I really want to spend $18 on a raclette sandwich, which is just basically a grilled cheese?
But then we went to that really good restaurant, which I don't know what it was called.
The Lion's Share.
It was so good.
Yeah,
Oh.
I love that place. That's a great place.
Those
they do
Brussels
all game
sprouts.
food, so it was good. Yeah.
Nick was talking about the Brussels sprouts
Gaston came
forever.
out and performed. That restaurant reminds me of Burley. Yeah.
No
It's
one
also-
makes Brussels sprouts like Gaston.
It's just so dingy and like
It's
dark.
a little dive bar-ish,
Yeah.
but it's great though.
Yeah, the food was magic.
All right. So before we get into mouth to mouth, we do have a special guest in the studio. Wah, 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 wah. It's Cristian Ortiz.
Hi.
So Christian's here because we're going to talk about his pastry background and his travels and his culinary life. But before we do that, we're going to find out what's giving him and us life with our segment, Mouth to Mouth. Mouth to Mouth resuscitation. All right, Christian, since you're our guest, you get to go first. What's giving you life, girl?
At the moment, I'm visiting from New York, and I'm literally in bed all day at my mom's house, and I actually stumbled upon Dancing Queen by Alyssa Edwards on Netflix.
Oh.
So I've been actually watching, I've been binging it, and honestly, she's like my favorite drag queen. She's funny, she's talented, she's like sarcastic.
Did she stone those tights?
She doesn't have the back rolls anymore, so I didn't spend that much.
I know, she got him removed.
She got bankrolled. That's all she got. But honestly, I'm obsessed with Alyssa Edwards. She's like, I don't know. She's the best queen out there. Honestly,
Okay.
she's gorgeous. She's talented. She is everything to me.
I hope Rihanna has her and Tatiana on so they can do Shut Up and
Shut Up and
Drive
Drive for the Super Bowl. Imagine. That was the best lip sync of my
Can
life.
Alyssa do that still?
I think she can.
I mean, she's what,
Yeah.
like 40 something now?
She's, established.
Do that.
She's getting to Tamisha Iman status.
Yeah, exactly.
Tamisha Iman is coming for you.
Okay, well that's cool. I love that. Is that the only thing you're obsessed with right now?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've been traveling for a couple months or weeks now, so I just every time I come home, I just like to decompress and not do anything, no social media, just be at home, eat, and watch TV all day.
Okay.
I work a lot, so I enjoy the times of not doing anything.
Yes.
Okay. Joe, what are you obsessed with?
I have two things. Thank
Okay.
you for asking. The first one is I have no idea how to pronounce her name, but I'm going to try. It's Atsuko Okatsuka, and she's a comedian, and there's an HBO special.
Oh, there's an HBO special on
The
there. Yeah.
Intruder.
Okay.
Oh my God. She is hilarious. And she has this bowl cut. And
It's a signature Asian bowl
oh
cut.
my God, I watched it and I was like, she is so funny. And it's a little Ali Wong-esque, sort of.
Okay.
But not too Ali Wong. But she was hilarious. And I was just like,
Ali
oh my
Wong
God.
adjacent.
Yeah. like Ali Wong light.
Probably in that zip code, just not on that street.
Same neighborhood though.
Yeah. They're actually neighbors.
Ali Wong's like a gated community. She's like the trailer park.
I would argue the opposite because she was, Atsuko was on HBO and Ali Wong was on Netflix.
Yeah, but Ali Wong has 2 or 3 on Netflix.
But the second and third were not good.
Gasp.
Okay, you can move on to your second thing that you heard before.
They weren't as. I thought the first one was good. The second one was okay, and then the third one we didn't finish.
Okay.
The second thing I'm obsessed with is so obviously it's raining. I can't bike outdoors. I have an indoor little bike thing I could hook my bike up to, and I found an app. It's called Full Gas, I think, or something like that. And it basically is simulated video rides. So it's I don't know how they do it, but they have these recordings of real life locations.
Okay. They used to have what stationary bikes used to have that on
Yeah,
there. where
and
they
I
could,
think Peloton does something similar, but it basically today I rode my bike in France, and I was like, "Oh, this is really cool."
And you made it back in time
I
to
know.
record?
I can't tell you where because I have no clue what it was, but it was it was just really pretty, and you have the architecture of France and the buildings, and
You
there's
didn't hit
people.
anybody, did you?
No,
Okay.
He stopped and got a raclette.
I did.
He got
I
a
did.
raclette
Not
damage.
$20 for sure.
No, thank God the American dollar is beating the euro, right? Are we still doing that? Is it still more? I don't know. So I was just wow, this is really cool. And so they have I think thousands of different locations and routes that you can do. And I was like, this is how I'm going to travel the world.
Okay.
Is
Yeah.
Peloton still around, or did they go under finally?
No, they're still
They're
around.
still here,
They're still
yeah.
there.
Joe and I talked about that, not to nerd out about it, but their market cap is about 8 billion, and companies like Apple, Nike all have 40, 50 billion of cash. So I'm pretty sure that Peloton will be bought
Okay.
by one of those companies. So they're not going away.
I also have
The
$40
new-
billion
the new
in
thing
cash.
that
It's going to be the Apple Fitness
Yeah,
Peloton.
that's fine.
Billion?
Yeah.
You want to do a joint venture? You give 5, I give 5? Or wait, how much is it worth? 3?
It's full gas with a Z, not an S.
Yeah. But it's really
Oh.
cool. I was wow, I'm doing the trial right now. So
I would not have thought that that's how it was pronounced. I would have been full gaze.
yeah. So
Full gaze.
I don't know if I'll pay for it because I think its subscription is $20 a month. But
Oh, yeah. You're not
I'm
gonna
like-
use
So you're
that
gonna do the
much.
7-day trial. Just
it's
travel,
it's 14.
travel all
14
over the
days?
world, come back, and be like, I don't want to do this anymore.
I know. I'll
Do
travel.
that and change his email address.
I was just gonna say I could be Joe Granelli 1 instead of Joe Granelli. Would they? I wonder if they would have.
All right.
I've noticed.
So funny story. Paramount was it, or NBC was doing that for a while, where you'd have to log in, but you get free 3 free shows before you had to log in, and we were watching a couple before we bought the subscription.
We were trying to watch Top Chef, and like we'd watch like a couple episodes. Okay, we've got to get another email address.
Every email we had.
Wait, did you make
to
new
get our
email
free trials,
addresses?
yeah.
Oh my god!
Paul Smith 1, Paul Smith 15.
But did they have to like send you a code or something that you then?
Yes.
Ah.
Yeah. So then we get 3 more, and then like, okay, after
Oh my
3 days, we have to
God.
be like, okay, we got to get another one.
Oh my god, that's like a lot of work.
And then Project Runway came out, and we're like, do we got to do this again?
What was this for? What was it for?
Like Bravo or something.
Okay.
Or, yeah.
They did not lose money in that.
No, they did not. So, all right, well, that's cool.
Yeah, what about you?
I am obsessed with. We watched this show called The Great Chocolate Showdown, and we also watched a show called Wall of Bakers, and it looks like it's like these cookie shows that come from Canada.
Okay.
Because it's like it's giving me season 1 Drag Race feels.
No. So the production is terrible.
The production is like terrible. It's okay, but it's also like this could be better.
Is their makeup also
It has
really
a
bad
very
too?
PBS.
Yeah, it's like this was made in somebody's garage kind of feel to it. I mean, Great Chocolate Showdown was great, and it was cool to see all this stuff. But like Wall of Bakers does give you kind of like, okay, we're doing this in a high school cafeteria kind of feel.
Well, like the camera lens has like Vaseline. You can like, really see, and you're like,
It's a
and the soft
Gaussian
light is just
filter.
on.
What is a Gaussian blur?
But I mean, they're both really good shows, though. So if you get a chance, like Great Chocolate Showdown was good, and it was like it was a twist because somebody we thought at the beginning who did really so well did not make it all the way to the end.
Is it what platform is it on?
It's on Hulu.
Oh.
The Hulu.
Oh my god, do you remember like when Hulu had advertisements and it would be like the following program has been brought to you with limited commercial interruption by, and it'd be like Chevy.
What is with these voices? You're
No, that
so
was
butch today.
no, because it was like this real deep guide. It was like the following is brought to you by Chevy. Be the match.
I'm waiting for the funk beat to come in now.
Brought to you by Kool-Aid.
All right. So we have Cristian here, and he is here to talk about his life, his loves, and food and everything. So, Cristian, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about you?
So yeah, I'm 28 from San Diego.
Oh god, she's a child.
I know, not a 4-year-old. Born and raised in San Diego.
The whale's vagina. Everyone.
The whale's vagina, that's correct. We actually went to culinary school here, and that's where I met you, which was fun. Honestly, the highlight of culinary school.
He wouldn't have made it through culinary school without me,
through
and
English.
he used to
I would have
forget.
made it through English because
You had to take English in culinary school?
Yeah, you had to take like
It
Why?
was an associate's degree.
Yeah.
Or it's a degree program,
Yeah.
you know, I was born here, but my English is just horrible, and I just forget a lot of things, you know. So, with your help, I actually passed English, which was great. Thank you. Yeah, you know, and then I worked in a couple restaurants out here. Decided to move, and I left to Spain. And then I think ever since then, I've never looked back.
Okay, because you lived in Spain for how long?
So I was in Spain for like 3 years and a half, I would say. You know, I left. I just got really tired. You know, I was working out here in San Diego. I was working catering gigs, and I was working restaurants, and I just got really tired of the same thing over and over again. And I was like, well, you know what? Like, I have no boyfriend, no husband, no kids, like, no nothing. I didn't have any fish or anything either. So I was like...
You didn't have no plans,
no
nothing.
plans, no nothing. I wasn't plan gay yet. So I was like, all right, well...
He is now, everyone.
Now I am. Plan ready, full effect, like...
Oh no, I
full
hope you
throttle.
watered your plants before you
I
left.
did. I left my roommate in charge of them to walk into. So I just got really tired, and I decided to move to Spain. I went to Barcelona.
Barcelona.
Really?
Did you go over to Ibiza?
I did not go to Ibiza, but I did go to Mallorca, and you know, it was fun.
Oh my god, Mallorca.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
that's
Mallorca.
fancy.
Mallorca.
Oh,
I thought that's about Wales.
Mallorca?
Mallorca.
Yarr.
Mallorca.
Mallorca. So yeah, I left and I worked. I found a job. So I paid this school to give me a visa in a way so I can get a working visa. which they're not really supposed to do, but
Please don't come after him.
immigration need me back in. So I worked out there in a couple restaurants, in 3 restaurants, living in Spain, I don't know if you guys ever gone, but Spain itself is just gorgeous, and the food is amazing, and then actually having that experience and working in a restaurant out there, it just changed my career. Like, it was amazing in every single way. After that, I decided to come back. I was in LA for a couple months, and I wasn't feeling it. I was depressed, and I was like, well, you know what? I'm gonna go to New York. So I ended up going to New York. I've been there February 26th. I'm there. I'll be there for 4 years now.
Wow.
I don't know how I did it. I didn't think I was gonna survive because everybody in New York is pretty mean, and I'm over here like a little flower. So it just was like
a flower grows in Brooklyn.
Yes. So yeah, I've been there. I'm gonna be there for 4 years now.
Oh my God! And you were there in the heart of COVID too.
I was. Yeah, it was tough. I worked. So I lost my job, and then, I think 6 months. I had this whole trip planned out. I was gonna go to backpack in Southeast Asia and do all these things. And I think just everybody, I was like, oh, COVID's gonna last a month. It's gonna be fine, So I bought my ticket in February, and my trip was in July. So I was I'll just wait it out. And then May came, and I was well, COVID's not going anywhere. I was I'll extend it to December. I extended it, and I was it'll be gone for sure. It's gonna be gone. It's gonna be gone. December happened, and I was well, fuck my life. COVID's still here. So I ended up canceling my trip just because it was gonna be way more expensive to change it, But then I was just locked down, and I was in my house, and then I decided to get a job during COVID, which was not the best thing to do because all the regulations were changing, and I used to work for a dessert bar, and we had 12 customers, or 12, we could sit 12 people for a seating, and it was just we can only fit 25% capacity, so it was cool, we would cook for 3 people, and it was we would do that twice, but it was just it just wasn't worth it.
And it's a dessert bar, so it's not
it was not one thing on the plate. It was we had 12 items on the menu. It was a tasting menu, and then each dessert had 5 different components.
Right.
That sounds great.
Which is a lot.
And it's also a dessert bar is a splurge. It's not a necessary thing. So people aren't going to be oh, let's order Uber Eats from the dessert bar place.
No, it was gels and foams and
It's essential for me. I would have kept it afloat.
Yeah.
Naturally. Yeah.
And that's a little bit about me.
Going back to this bar, because I remember you working there. Is that place still around?
The dessert bar?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I kind of left on bad terms.
Give us the tea, girl.
Escandalo.
I know.
Bella mama.
News if I gotta meet. So
What'd you say?
No, so I started working there, and they were a couple. The 2 chefs, and everything was great.
They mix work and pleasure.
Yeah, everything was great, and I was it was just them 2, myself, and the dishwasher, and was working, and because of COVID, and I get their stress, and I don't hold any rage towards them, but I got to some point where I was I'm gonna quit the kitchen because I just can't handle this anymore. Where it was, they would cuss at me, or since I was the sous chef, but yet there was 2 people and myself, who was I gonna manage? So it's okay.
And those other 2 people were your bosses.
My bosses, but I was a sous chef, but they would be you gotta scream at the dishwasher. And I was I'm not gonna scream at him. And then, so we started doing tasting menus, but then we would get shut down again, so it was only to go, and we changed the whole menu to little cakes and stuff. So I get it, they were stressed, And for Christmas, we ended up doing these gift boxes with cookies and pound cakes and all these things. And they were hey, either before the cookie comes out of the oven, show it to us. And I was cool. Well, the cookie goes in there for 15 minutes. It was a rationale, so we timed it. 15 minutes, and every 15 minutes I'm hey, can the cookie come out? They instructed me to do it, so I did it. And then I think after the 4th time that I did it, one of the chefs was started cussing. She's oh, she's I can't believe you're here, and you're still asking me how to do cookies. Are you fucking stupid? All these things, and I was just okay, you're asking me to do this, then don't ask me to do it, and So I was so it was just a constant berating all the time for and when I first started, I was doing everything so well, And then as soon as like they were stressed, it's like everything that I did was just wrong. And I was like, well, how, like all of a sudden everything's wrong? Like it doesn't make no sense. So I ended up, I spoke to them and they apologized, and I was like, for sure. I went back and then they were acting the same way. They were cool, like sweet for like 2 days, and they were acting total dicks the next couple days. So it was New Year's Eve, and it was a horrible day at work. And I went home and I emailed them, and I was like, you know what? During like a pandemic where you're supposed to be understanding and like sort of loving, where like nobody really wants to work in restaurants right now, nobody wants to do service, like you should sort of be nicer to your employees, like meaning me, because I was the only other employee, and it's not the right fit for me right now. I'm not gonna go back. And they didn't email me back for like 2 weeks, and they were like, well, we gave you everything and this and that, like, but I hope you have a great life. And they were just really sour. So then they blocked me off like social media, everything. But it's funny because I love creating desserts, and it's like my friend would always send me pictures. They're like, hey, isn't this your cheesecake? Because, I do a couple things. I would send her pictures. I'm like, yeah. So they were using all the recipes that I gave them for my cakes and stuff like that. And they were posting it. They were selling them, which is fine. I'm not going to tell them anything about it. But like, you don't block me. Just give me credit. But like, hey, thank you so much for the cakes that you
Copyright
made.
infringement.
You can't,
and he's a lawyer.
Unfortunately, you can't copyright a recipe. So,
yeah, what's so hard is like, you can take a recipe from somebody as long as you change, I think, 30% of the recipe.
Oh, I thought it was like 5, isn't it?
Oh, it's a very small amount.
Yeah, like
it now
5%.
becomes yours.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Literally. So it's like instead of 35 grams of salt, I'm going to add 40 grams of salt, and then there you go. It's my recipe now.
Yeah.
Oh, this seems like a little loophole.
It is.
The Great British Baking Show's rule is you have to change at least 3 things.
Okay.
See?
Huh.
So one of the big things you did in the last couple of years was you were on and you won your episode of Chopped Sweets.
I did.
On Discovery Plus.
Sound.
Wait, what's the prize on that now?
$10,000.
That's it? I thought it was more.
Girl, I wish.
It's Chopped Sweets, not Chopped Girl.
Is Chopped more?
I don't think so. I think Chopped is $10,000 too.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know.
Man, I thought it was
But
more.
like Chopped Sweets is the dessert-based...
Which is actually so much harder. Like...
Oh, yeah.
It's so much harder because creating a dessert, it's not like cooking where like, you can just add something. Like, it might turn out well. Like, desserts is such a science, and it's just so meticulous that like, you can't really adjust it without doing like trial and error,
Yeah.
So if you do something, you're like, which I did, and I was like hoping it would come out, or I would be like, oh my god, if it doesn't come out, what am I going to do next? Like, my god, But yes, I was on Chopped.
Well,
and
there's so many things that take more than a day, or you have to wait hours for it to rise or chill, or
yeah. So what happened was I woke up one day, like I do every other day, and I was like, I'm gonna apply for Chopped.
Oh.
So I was working in Brooklyn, and I was like, I'm gonna apply, and I applied, and I was doing all these interviews, and by like the 3rd interview, I honestly was like, I honestly don't want to be on this show anymore. Like, it's
You're making it too difficult.
Yeah, it was like I had like hour-long FaceTime interviews, and
God.
I had 3 interviews. They were all 3 of them an hour long. They asked for pictures and resumes and cover like so many things. They're like, questions like, they were like, how'd you get into cooking? And me being fat when I was a little kid, I just cooked because I like to eat. But I was just like, my love for cooking grew with my mom in the kitchen. Like, so many things. And I was just like, whatever. I was like, they're not going to believe me.
My abuela used to...
My abuela, when I was a child, fed me these beans, and they were the best thing in the world.
She would show me how to make tortillas.
Yeah, tortillas.
Or mole.
And my love stems from that. Yeah. No, my mom worked all the time. My dad worked all the time. I was just a little fat kid, and I just ate, and I just cooked, and I would make horrendous food when I was a child, but I still ate it because I was always hungry, and, So, yeah, I woke up, and I applied, and had all the interviews, and they were like, okay. They're like, you move on to the next step. They're like, we're going to have the chef from Chop call you, and she's going to explain, like, your ingredients or what you have to do. And I was like, cool. So she calls me, and she's like, you're going to have these ingredients. She's like, just think about it like, what you would use the ingredient like as a salt flavor or salt base or like a sweet base. Like say if it's a gochujang that's like sweet and tangy, you can use it for like a sugar substitute and things like that. And I was like, cool. And she hung up. It was like 5 minutes long, and I was like, okay, that didn't prepare me anything.
Oh.
So then I was at my house, and I was like, bro, you can't take a note, but you can't take recipes. So like, you have to memorize all the recipes. And
right.
I was just like in my like room, and I was like researching all my recipes, and I was like, okay, I was trying to memorize like 1,000 recipes. Doesn't work. So I was like, I'm gonna memorize ratios. Okay. So I was like, ratios is probably the best thing to do. So I was like, I got a like ice cream recipe, and I was like, cool. What's the ratio? Like 100% milk, 10% sugar, etc., etc. You know, and cakes, you know, it's I don't know, 3 eggs, 25% flour, 10% sugar, 2% salt. And I was like, I'm gonna remember all my ratios. So I remembered all the ratios. I couldn't sleep that night, so I woke up. I slept for like 1 hour, and I had to be there at 6 a.m.
Oh my god!
So I fell asleep like at 4. Woke up, took a shower, I look in the mirror, and I have like this volcano on my nose. And I'm like, my god. So then I'm trying to do my hair. And like, you know when you have like a big day and your hair's just not doing what your hair is supposed to do? So I didn't want to go anymore. So I get there, I spent like $60 on my Uber, and I was so mad. I was like, pimple on my nose, hair's not working, like $60 on my Uber, like I'm gonna fail. Like I just want to go home and sleep. I get there, and there was 3 competitors, all girls, and man, they just wouldn't stop talking. They were just like talking, and I was like I want to go home. Like I don't want to do this anymore. I put on the chef coat. I was sweating like nonstop, just like profusely nervous. And so I asked the guy, and I was like, one of the production helpers, and I was like, hey, I was like, is there makeup and hair? Because I need to cover up this pimple. They're like, you look fine. You look fine. And I was like, and the girls had like makeup, you know, artists like touching them up, and I was like, no. I was like, please, you know. They're like, no, you're fine. So
bitch, I will put a Band-Aid on this in a second if you don't get makeup over here.
But it was just like, I knew I wasn't fine because during this shooting, somebody was like, oh, wipe his nose because he has oil, and then I hear someone in the background goes, it's a pimple. And
I want to be that person. I'd be that person.
It's a pimple! And I was so red, and I was just like, oh my god.
Did they pop it?
No. Well, I was in the bathroom. Like, I went to the bathroom because I was like, I need to get rid of this. And I was trying to pop it, and it got so red, and I was like, I just ruined it. It was bad.
And you didn't get makeup?
No makeup.
Oh my god.
And I was so upset, and I was like sweating, and I was, you know. So So the way Chopped works is you get a basket. There's 3 rounds, and there's 4 items in the basket. Right?
So, just so you guys know, Nick, our fact finder producer, was able to find the Wikipedia for that particular episode, and it was called Desserts in Bloom.
Oh my god, how appropriate. You said you were a little flower.
Yeah.
I know.
And for me.
This was on May 24th, 2021. So, like, for the appetizer, you had botanical pops, citrus begonia, limequats, and snails.
That's disgusting.
Okay. And then in your
you
entree...
made a dessert with snails?
I did.
I love that.
And then so your entree was poppy cakes, salted cherry blossoms, lemon balm, and sake. I thought that said brain. And then for your desserts, you had floral gelatin treats, fennel, honeycomb, and pistachio. Oh, but that sounds... Oh, yeah, because... that the dessert one was fine, but like the other 2,
yeah. So honestly, like you line up, they do the whole intro, and you're like, oh, you know, Christian, you have to be like act super excited, and you know, have a big smile on your face, and I was just like in my head, like, my god, I'm gonna get eliminated. So you know, they open the basket, they make you open the basket like 3 or 4 times because they want to see reactions, you know. And I was like, well, I'm not an actor. Yeah, so I opened the box and I was like, oh my god, what am I going to do with this? Like, wow.
Oh no.
A secret ingredient. What must I do?
Yeah, and they're like, oh, you know, just smell it or taste it. And I like put things in my nose. I'm like, wow, this smells like... I was just the worst acting, like RuPaul season 1 acting. You know, just like not doing it.
But you didn't know it was in the basket.
I didn't, no.
Know. So it was a secret.
It was a secret.
The first time.
The first time.
But after take 4...
Yeah, but the thing is that, like, And I think a lot. So as soon as I open the basket, I'm like, cool, like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? So the night before, I sharpened my knives. Like, really, really sharp. So I was like, I'm ready for this competition. It's going to be great. So I'm like thinking what I'm going to do. And I was like, cool, I'm gonna candy the lime quats, you know? Because there's like kumquats.
The kumquat, yeah.
So I started cutting them. And because my knife was so sharp, I cut myself.
Oh no! You did it,
but you know what?
Yourself.
It's probably good that you sharpened it and it wasn't like a little bit duller because that would have been hurt a lot worse, and you probably would have been out.
So I go to the sink, and like you have to say if you cut yourself so you can clean your stuff. And I was like, you know, I cut myself.
But the timer doesn't stop.
It doesn't.
No.
So I lost 5 minutes.
Oh my god!
And the EMT like on duty, she had gloves on, but she didn't put the gloves on. She didn't put the gloves on right, so like all the tips were like all loose.
Come on, EMT.
She couldn't open the little tube, and I was like, just give me super glue. Just hurry up, you know. I was like stressing out, and she's like, I can't hurry. Like, just give me a sec. She took off the glove, like taking her time, and I was like, took forever to bandage me up. I go to my station, and I'm like, cool. I think the first time was like 30 minutes. Now it was like 25 minutes, and I'm like, everybody's so ahead of me because everybody's like running around, and I was like, oh my god. So I ended up. Long story short, I ended up making this like crumble with the snails. I ended up like chopping them up. I mixed it with some butter, sugar, made a crumble. I made a deconstructed like cheesecake. So I like infused the botanical pods, which were like floral instead of the cheesecake base. I ended up, the begonias itself are beautiful. They're very floral, so just left them like that. And then they had I don't know why, I saw a cotton candy machine. I was like, great, I'm gonna grab cotton candy and just put it on top. So I ran over there and made cotton candy, put it on top, plated it, and it looked good. And I didn't really taste it, but it looked good. And people liked it. You know, they were like, "Oh, you recovered beautifully." Like,
okay. So number one rule in a kitchen, people, when you're baking or like cooking, taste your food.
Taste everything, always.
But it looked good.
Yeah,
but you know what? And did they call you out for not doing anything with the citrus begonia? Because they always call you out if you just flop something on a plate instead of using it.
They were about to, but you know, they asked me like, "Hey, why didn't you?" I tasted it before. They tasted begonia beforehand, and they tasted so good. Like, why are you gonna mess up a beautiful little herb, like a little flower? Like, there's no point of like doing something. And everybody else made like jams with it and like jams with the snails and like all these things, and I was just like, no. I put them on there. They were beautifully placed. They tasted citrusy. Like, it had a little texture to it. They didn't really clock me on it, and I'm glad. But like, it was good.
Did you love? Did you have a crush on Scott Conan?
Well, you know what? He has a lot of makeup on. Oh. He was very orange.
No,
he was very
giving you Paul Hollywood realness, people.
Giving me Donald Trump in his conference calls.
Okay.
Wait, who were your judges?
Scott Conan.
Okay.
And it was Monica Hoon, and then it was Stephanie, which she's from.
Manit is the one that the dancing blue shirt guy loves.
Okay,
because she was super nice.
Oh, I love her. She's nice too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Stephanie is the.
I love her. She's so sweet.
Who's the blonde girl?
That is the blonde one is what's her name? I forget, but she's nice too. Because everybody thinks Alex Cornicelli is a nice one.
Amanda Seyfried.
Yeah,
free tag.
There you go.
Amanda Seyfried is an actress.
We have interviewed somebody that worked on Chop as a PA, and so like from the time you cooked your food to when they tasted it, he like said sometimes it could be a long time.
It is, but the judges walk around and they taste everything.
Oh, I didn't know that because it looks like they're always sitting at the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they walk around like after they say, you know, your time's up. You go to the. I know. Because, you know, they also made me say a lot of things that I was just like, at first, they were like, you know, you gotta like sort of talk smack about your competition. And I was like, oh no, you know, I was like, you know, they were like asking me, do you think I'm gonna go home? And I was like, I think so because I cut myself. I'm like, no, you can't do that. You have to give me like TV and drama.
You should be like, these bitches, did you see what they played in?
Well, that was course number 2. That's where I was like, okay, they want drama. I was like, actor.
Am I the drama?
Am I
I was like, so it's like the number 2, like as the play, whatever they graded us or they judged us. They sent someone home. The girl was crying. I was really sad for her. But I was like, whatever.
I would not be.
She was crying. I was like, the show must go on. Whatever. Don't care. Second basket, you know, we opened it and it says poppy cakes, but honestly, it was a big ass fucking cake.
It was like I think when they say
what's a
poppy
poppy
cakes,
cake?
they mean like there was one in each basket, so there was like 3 poppy cakes.
No, but it was a whole tiered like
And
poppy cake.
Poppy cakes is like it has poppy seeds in
Inside
it.
like a vanilla cake or vanilla
Right.
chiffon, and it was beautifully decorated. And I was like, and there was a hair on mine.
Oh no!
So I was
That
like,
wasn't yours.
I took out the basket and I was like, excuse me, there's a hair on my cake.
Did you really say that?
That
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
make
yeah.
the final cut.
I was like, there's a hair on my cake. And they're like, what? And I was like, there's a hair. Like, I need a new cake, you know? So, the second basket, you know, I'm over here like, okay, well, I gotta do good. So I ended up making a blondie with the salted cherry blossoms, and I substituted the salt for the cherry blossoms, which, you know, because they were super salty, so I kind of substituted that. I ended up making a caramel with the sake and the lemon balm.
Which is good. Yeah,
Which is
that's a
good. And then, honestly, my plating for this dish, like, was horrible. Like, I thought I was gonna go home after this. The only thing that saved me was that I cut the cake into quarters. I blended it with the creme anglaise. So I made an ice cream base. And I could hear the judges like, oh my god, what is he doing? What is he doing? And like, honestly, I had no idea what I was doing. I played it like, I made it seem like I did. It just,
They were like, he doesn't know either. So
I don't know either. Like, I didn't know, pretended like I knew.
Well, like, because when we had the Dancing Blue Shirt guy out here, he was like, I was also one of those people who was in the judge's ear telling them what the contestants were doing so they would know. And I'm pretty sure that person was like, I have no fucking idea. He's crazy right now. I don't know what he's doing with the poppy cake.
He's complaining
why
about a
is he-
hair on the cake.
Like, why is he putting in a blender?
They're like, have you seen his pimple? Girl.
Don't look at his nose.
Don't look directly at him.
Yeah, and I was just like, no. So I do remember for this, the second dish, I was running back and forth, and I was like, I gotta do something. In my head, I like cut the blondie a certain way because I just, you know, when you make a dish and you think it's gonna look so pretty, and you plate the first one, and you're like, wow, this looks like shit. That was my dish. And so,
But it tasted good, so it was the opposite of your first one.
well, they were so impressed by my ice cream, the cake ice cream. I've never done it. I hadn't even seen it. They've never seen it. And
Now
I
it's got to be a signature.
I
like,
should. It really
when you open
should.
up your own place, you're going to have to do
make a
cake
poppy
ice cream.
cake.
Don't tell the dessert bar people that.
I made the creme anglaise and I literally just threw the cake in there, put it in the machine, and it was honestly, I tasted it and it was really good. Plated it, it was horrible. But they told me, you know, be an actor, so I was like, yeah, you know, I'm faster in here and I'm more qualified than them, and I was like, they're gonna go down. And I was like, all in. I was like, it's all or nothing.
I'm gonna watch this episode.
Do not watch it. You're gonna see my pimple.
That's what I was gonna say. I needed to see how big this pimple
It's
is.
really, I see it. So then the third round comes, and I'm going against this girl. She owns a bakery.
Danielle O'Day.
She does.
Shout out to Danielle.
Shout out to her. She owns a bakery up in Scottsdale, if I'm not mistaken. And I was always one of those persons that every time I saw Chopped, I was never gonna say I was born ready. You know, because they have a face off.
Oh god.
I was like, I know. Every time I saw that, and I was like, oh, they're so stupid. Why would they say that?
Ah.
So lo and behold, Scott Conan goes, "Are you guys ready for the challenge?" And I I'm like, I was born ready. My God, it turned into my worst nightmare.
It's like when people say they're going to go on the Great British Baking Show and they're never just going to like stare in the oven and like watch their cakes rise. So then you see them on the floor sitting in front of it waiting.
So I said that, and I don't know. Every bit to this day, I'm like, oh, I look so stupid saying it, and I was like, oh my god. So
It's all TV.
yeah, it's all TV. So the third dish I can say I was really, really proud of. It was honestly really pretty. I ended up making a Swiss roll cake, and I stuffed it with like a mascarpone cream with pistachios. I got like the jellies that they had, and I infused that with like an apple jam, and then I made a fennel apple sorbet, and I just decorated it so pretty. And Danielle actually had finished 5 minutes before the timer ran out.
Oh wow!
So the judges were just like, "Hey, pretend like you're doing something," you know.
Yeah.
And I was just looking at her, and in my head I was like, God, like use all your time, like do something, you know?
Yeah, you need to check that plate again, girl.
Yeah, so I was like, and she had made this really pretty cake and everything, and I had made this whole plate of dessert. Don't know how I pulled it off. I played the dish, and they were like, you know, asking my thoughts of it. And I was like, well, you know, she had a lot of time and she didn't use it all. So, like, the judges are going to prefer my dish. And, like, what is it? I was going all out because I was like, drama.
Shady lady over here.
And then we got into the conference room and I was like, oh my God, Danielle, good job. You know?
Danielle's in therapy right now.
Exactly.
Quit her business.
No, but honestly, she did an amazing job. We all did an amazing job. And, yeah, so after, you know, they critiqued us and everything, they told, like, you know, they put the plate under the little dish thing, and they were like, hey, you know, Cristian, you're the winner, which was a surprise, but I didn't really react. I was just like, oh, yay, like, I won, you know. And, yeah.
You were like, of course I did.
I
told you I was going to.
So they were like, well, we have to do a reaction again. I was like, what do you mean? So my reaction was 4 times.
Oh my God.
And all they got out of me at the 4th time was just like clapping my hands and like, yay, woo. I was like, I won. It wasn't even exciting anymore, you know? It was just like...
Girl, you should have did a death drop or something.
I wanted to Vogue. I really did. And I was going to like do something crazy. And I was just like, I even said, I told myself, I was like, when you go out, when they present you, like Vogue or like death drop or like, you know, do something. And I didn't do it. I was like a little bitch.
Oh my God, that helicopter is so loud.
That's my ride.
Time to go.
Whee!
It just goes to show that, like, you watch TV, and sometimes you watch those TV shows, and you're like, oh, that was strange.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like their 4th or 5th take.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And everything's fake. Everything's fake.
I mean, but that check isn't fake, though. Come on now.
It wasn't fake, but the thing is I used it during COVID, which honestly got me out of a pickle just because it was like...
Hey, you know, then you can't go anywhere to spend it anyway, so you're going to use it wisely, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, technically, and then I had to pay all this, like, $1,000 on, like, tax, and I was just like, ugh.
Come on, Food Network. You can handle
enough
that.
Listen, that cash prize is
rate.
about half what they gave you. You got to pay the IRS.
I did. I paid them, and I was like so upset. And I was like, I should just save my money.
Did you get paid to be on the show as well?
No, so they gave you a check because you win, but I didn't receive the check until after the show was aired, which was about 8 months after.
Wow.
8 months.
And you didn't get paid to do. Wow.
No. No, they gave me lunch.
Oh,
so that
gave
was
me a lot of espresso because I was really tired.
It was a long day too, right?
Oh, it was 16 hours. I was exhausted. I got there at 6 in the morning. I left at 9 p.m. And then after you compete, the reason I was so tired is because they make you... It's adrenaline, right?
Yeah.
Like, it really is. Like, you have 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. And in that time, you're just running like crazy. And, like, it's you're moving all over the, like, area and everything. So it's all that adrenaline that builds up. And then they give you about like an hour break because they're deliberating and they're this and they're that and they're cleaning up the kitchen and all that stuff. So then you kind of like chill. And then it's like you pick up your adrenaline again for the next round.
Well, also, but you also have to be on too. Like, that's an endurance test because it's like not only are you doing all this work for like making the dishes, but you also have to be on camera. So your personality has to be even bigger than it normally is.
All the time. They want to see you exaggerate for everything. And it's fine, you know, but...
You're extra, it's fine.
It was fine. I was born for this. And then...
I was born ready.
Oh my God. To this day, I think about it, like, out of the blue, and I'm like, why did I even say that? I'm so dumb. But then after the 3rd time, and after I won, it's like, I was like, cool, like, I'm just gonna grab my stuff and go home. They made me do the exit interview, and it's like, it was 2 hours long.
Oh my God.
And, yes, because you have to do like the
for
voiceover.
30 seconds?
Yeah, you have to do that. You have to do the voiceover of like all your dishes. Like they ask you like, oh, what were you thinking in this moment in time when you were making the ice cream? So I was like, I had to be like, if I wasn't like there, so I'd be like, oh man, you know, this person's using the machine. I really have to use it because if not, I'm gonna be, you know, I'm gonna run out of time and I need to get my stuff done. They're like, so how did you feel in that moment? Oh, I'm really stressed and like.
Oh, so all that stuff that you talk about over that,
yes.
You have to do that separately.
And
the confessionals, what about the confessionals? Like,
and so that's all after. Everything's all after, and it's like, it got so, I was so tired.
The magic of Hollywood.
I kept closing my eyes, and they're like, you need to open them. I was like, I'm just really tired.
This is my culture. I'm going to need you to not.
I was Filipino. I was very young, a lot. You know, and I just kept asking for espresso. I drink like 5 espressos. But the thing is, so after I won, I called my mom. Well, the thing is that none of my family knew I was going to be on there.
Okay.
Aww.
Nobody knew. So I called my mom and I was like, hey, like, what are you doing? She's like, oh, nothing. She's like, I'm working. I was like, I just won Chopped. And she's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, you know, Chopped, like the show on TV, like where people cook. She's like, yeah. I was like, I won. She was like, no, you didn't. And I was like, yes, I did. She's like, when were you on Chopped? And I was like, Mom, like right now I just spent 16 hours like competing. And she's like, you're lying. I was like, no, why would I be lying and tell you these things? And she's like, you really? And I was like, yeah. So then I called my brother and I was like, hey, like, guess what? Because he would always tell me, you gotta compete on Chopped. He's like, you think you're better than them? And I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm like pretty good, you know? He's like, you need to compete. So then I called him and I was like, hey, I won Chopped. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I was like,
nobody wants to believe you.
I won Chopped. Like,
At least your family's consistent.
Oh, they love me. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I won. So then a month would pass, and they're like, you weren't even on Chopped, like your episode's not out yet. And I'm like, well, it's gonna be out soon, you know. So like,
did they tell you when it would air?
No.
Oh my God.
So then every single month, they'd be like, you're just a liar, like your show's not even on. My sister-in-law told all her coworkers, and they're like, are you sure he was on Chopped? Because like, his episode.
We haven't seen him.
Yeah, and she was like, no, he really is. So they sat me down. They're like, are you really on Chopped? Because like, we didn't tell
We're having
You had an intervention.
It's an intervention, Christian.
I really am.
The lies that you are spreading are not good.
Either you get help or you stop
There's your
shopping.
intervention. Like, you're such a liar. And I was like, I really am. So when the episode came out, like, my brother was so happy. He's not emotional. He shed a tear. One.
Oh.
My mom was crying because like during you have to like talk and stuff, and I was like, they asked me like, oh, how did you get into cooking or type of thing, and I was like, honestly, I got really emotional. I was like, I was like, how did I say it? I was like, since I was little, I was, really fat. I wasn't good at sports. So the kitchen was like my little getaway, and I was bullied because I was gay and fat. And, I just wanted to show everybody that bullied me that you can make it through it. And I was like, all these like little stupid like things.
It gets
you
better.
can overcome it, Which, it was like drama. I didn't even know why I said that, but it was just drama.
And if you have a giant pimple, you can make it through that too. You can still be on Chopped.
Anything, this pimple in this hair.
I'm watching that episode later today.
I'm not watching. I'm so embarrassed. I was like, my brother texted me when he saw it, and he was like, "You're so shady." And I was like, "What do you mean?" You keep side-eyeing all the girls. And I'm like, well, it's not my fault he sucked. No, just kidding.
Because you were like, I don't want them to touch Scott Conan. He's mine.
All mine.
The Cheeto is mine.
Were you able to take like any pictures, any selfies on
No,
set?
nothing. They take away your phone. They take everything away, so you can't like communicate with anybody.
I would taking a picture down the hallway like...
No, I tried. Like, I should, like, they're like, no, just, you gotta give me all your phones, your everything. No recipe books, no nothing. So it was just like,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Was it filmed at the Food Network and Chelsea Market?
No. It was in New York, somewhere by Central Park.
Were you like taken there in a blacked out Windows car with your
no, but I gotta pay
blindfolded?
I should have saved my receipt from the Uber. It was $60. I paid
Did they
myself.
reimburse you?
No.
They were like, if you win, it won't matter.
Yeah. I should be like, hey, this is my ride here. Like, you owe me $60.
That's hilarious.
Did you get to talk to like the chef still afterwards? Like, was there?
I do. I've like communicated with them. Actually, one of the chefs that competed, her name is T Rose. What is it?
Rose
Lawrence. I was like T Rose. That's her Instagram. Rose Lawrence. She's coming out with her own book. She didn't pay me to this plugin, but she's coming out with her own cookbook. She's an amazing pastry chef. She like owns a bakery up in LA. She's she used to be a lawyer, and she got into being a pastry chef, and like the things that she does. Her cakes are absolutely gorgeous. They're so beautiful. And then Danielle, she has her bakery up in Scottsdale, and the things that she opened it with her mom. And her bakery just looks really good. It looks really pretty, very Instagrammable. And Divya just actually became a mother about like a couple months ago, and she's doing like private chefing and stuff like that. And there's me just living life.
Why don't you have a cookbook yet?
He can't write.
I can't, or I could barely even read. Like,
I mean, he did admit that he didn't pass his English test.
I passed it because of Paul.
Exactly.
So I did pass.
So I need to write a book with me.
Yes. I've
co-author.
actually thought about it, and I've thought about doing a lot of things. Like, I don't know what people would want to see, and I don't know what to do it about. Like, I essentially want to do a book where it's like I love making breads, right? I love making laminated doughs and like croissants, which is
Because that's like your signature,
that's
right?
my signature.
Like,
Yes,
okay.
I love making croissants and like palmiers and all these things.
All
I
these
love
French
making-
words.
Girl.
I was in France earlier.
It's full circle right now.
So I essentially would want to do that. I don't know if people would buy it or if people would be like,
It does not matter.
yes.
You make the book for you, and people will buy it.
so that's one of the things that I want to do, and hopefully have maybe this year I'll like focus on that.
Yeah, you got to create for you and not other people.
That's what we do. That's what me and Joe do. We create for us. Give a fuck about these other people. Except all of you listeners.
we love you.
We love you.
So much.
Kisses.
You're the best. You look beautiful. Did you stone those tights?
Did you stone those earbuds that you're listening to us on, or your car?
So now, what are some things? What are some like culinary things that you still haven't done that you would like to? Like, are there any restaurants that you haven't worked at yet that you would love to?
There's a lot of restaurants. There's I think in the culinary world you never stop learning. And it's like once you think you've learned or outgrown something, like there's always more. And there's always more. And there's I honestly don't stop learning. I can learn.
I think for our listeners, you need to tell people the restaurants you've worked at and the Michelin stars that they've earned, because people think you work at a restaurant, but you've worked at restaurants of the world.
I did, yeah. So when I during my little travels, so I work here in San Diego. I worked at Kettner Exchange, because Kettner Exchange is, I got my first like actual restaurant and experience there. And
You're welcome.
You're what? Thank you so much. That's when you pretended you were straight. So Paul walks into the kitchen.
What?
Paul walks into the kitchen, and because the kitchen itself is very masculine in a way, where like it's very
So is Paul.
hard. Paul, absolutely, mask for mask all the way.
Mm-hmm.
He goes into the kitchen. He's like, "Yo, what's up?"
I'm like, we're at school. I'm like, look, nobody knows I'm gay there.
He's like, "Please don't out me." And I'm like, Paul,
No,
you
really?
were voguing in class last week. What are you talking about?
Okay.
So for the longest
teacher.
time, people thought that Paul was not gay.
I don't believe this.
Swear.
Swear to God.
Swear.
Swear.
And he
Preach
was
truth.
nervous because working in that kitchen was very tense and quiet and like.
Oh, yeah,
business.
Chef Kettner Exchange, Chef Reinhard Zukowski, like, I love this chef, and he's, like, honestly became such a big part of my life. But the way he used to run his kitchen was intense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we could not make a mess. We could not, like, speak. We could
You couldn't
not,
whistle.
You couldn't whistle. You couldn't do anything but say heard. Get the food out. Make sure all your cuts were the same.
And I told you guys this before. Like, if you're new, he doesn't speak to you for like 6 months.
Oh, he doesn't.
6 months?
Yeah,
Like
he doesn't.
somewhat or other, yeah.
Because he says like such a high turnover that he doesn't get close to people or stuff like that, But with Paul and myself, it was always very like off the bat. Like he kind of
Yeah.
loved us, and I think we're the favorites for sure.
Because you're gay.
Probably because we're gay. You
Yeah.
know?
He's like the
Paul came out.
homosexual.
Yeah, he's always, like,
Paul
pushing
one
me,
day was
Papa
like, by the
Ortiz,
way,
you know?
So like
Actually
you
gay.
worked at Kettner, but then you've also worked at like Tickets. Which
Yes,
is
so I worked at Kettner. Then I went to Spain. I worked at Tickets, which was on one Michelin star. Honestly, Tickets was because they closed down because of COVID. Was like brutal. It was the best kitchen experience, and it was the things that they did at Tickets was unbelievable. And the chef was Albert Adria, which his brother was Fran Adria, and they revolutionized food in so many ways. So many. They were pioneers for a really long time. I worked at Enoteca, which is a 2-star, Paco Perez in Barcelona.
We're up to 3 stars, people total.
Almost. And then I was there, and I was kind of a tournant chef, so I kind of did all the stations. And then they were like, hey, you're going to be in charge of the proteins. So the proteins, I had 8 dishes coming out of my station. which was great. But, working at a 2-star, like, that's already requiring a lot. And it was, we would do 30, 40 covers, and out of those 40 covers, I would have 8 things out of my station. So I was cooking up all night.
Well, and not only that, but like proteins are the hardest because they have to be so on point. Like
all the time.
The cook on them has to be perfect every single time. All the time.
And it's like, we had fish, we had we had a rice, langoustines, we had a pigeon. We had so many things. Besides just proteins, the sauces would come off my station.
Oh.
So I was just saucier and protein cook all day long. After that, they wanted me to stay there, and I wish I would have, but I got to do a stage, actually, in Sella de Can Roca, which is in Girona, which is a 3-star. I was there for 5 months until my visa expired. That, to me, was probably my highlight, just because I always, since I was in culinary school, was like, I'm going to work there one day. And just getting there, and like, I cooked for the 3 brothers. Sella de Can Roca has 3 brothers, right? It's Joan, is Jordi, and Josep. One takes care of the food, the other takes care of desserts, and the other one takes care of the wine. And they do this competition where you cook for them. And I ended up cooking for the 3 brothers. And just cooking for anybody itself is a pleasure. And then just cooking for chefs at that level and that caliber, I was just nervous, and I was just like, I'm going to do what I do, and just hopefully they like it. So I made this like fish with some salsas and everything, and they loved it, and it was great. And to me, was one of those things where I was like wow, it was like one of those highlights where it was just like, maybe they were lying to me, maybe it wasn't that good, but having that honor to cook for a chef, a 3 Michelin star chef who has world-renowned name, it's just like incredible.
Yeah.
And so then, like I said, I came back to LA, then I went to New York, and I worked at Cosme, which Cosme is one of the best restaurants in New York, I would say.
Put that down on your list of places to go.
Put that on your list, for sure.
I needed a reservation like months ago, right?
Yeah, probably.
I got you.
Sure. Wait, you go back when?
I go back on Monday.
And then you'll be there, we'll be there. It's fine.
See, there you go.
Fun.
Yeah.
And then I became a sous chef at Atla. Well, I worked at Faro, which was a 1 Michelin star as well, like before the pandemic. And then I opened up like a little Spain, which is like a pastry shop, or like a pastry. It wasn't a pastry shop. It was a Spanish market, but they had a pastry section, and I worked the pastry section. I did that, and then I worked at Atla as well, which I was a sous chef there for a year and 8 months.
Atla was amazing. Let me just tell you, the food was phenomenal.
And you also had the best host.
And we had the best host, and the desserts were just
bomb.
Okay.
I would hope so.
Pumpkin flan, y'all.
Dessert bar.
And I don't like flan, but pumpkin flan was good.
That honestly, the pumpkin flan was delicious. It was. People always tell me hey, you should bring it back and stuff well, I mean, I don't work there now, but when I worked there, they were like, you should bring it back. And I was just I don't know, it was good, but I didn't want to put it back on the menu. It was just, it was really good. I don't know.
But it could have been your budino.
It could have. It could have. But I ended up making a café de olla flan, which was a coffee with cinnamon flan, and that was also really good. And then just recently I decided to quit, travel a bit, and because
you just did some pop-ups in Colombia.
I did a pop-up in Colombia.
Because you were doing some pop-ups in New York too.
I was doing pop-ups in New York, and then I did a pop-up with a Spanish chef, which was really, really fun in New York. And then my friend was like, hey, we're going to do a pop-up in Colombia, come. And I was like, all right, sure, I've never been. So we went, and I always do this to myself where I end up overachieving.
Oh, okay, humble.
Everything I try, I'm just so good at it.
I'm just I'm the best at it.
I'm just
I don't
so
understand.
good. But what I'm trying to overachieve, I'm stressing out because I'm just doing too much. So we went to the market in Colombia, which they have phenomenal fruits. If you guys ever go, it's just phenomenal.
Shout out to our Colombian listeners. Hey,
I went to the mercado. It was fun, but I was walking through this area. And just me being happy and gay with my little bags of fruit,
Fruit carrying fruit.
Yeah. I walked 20 minutes and I'm oh, it's getting hot. So I get a taxi. Get on the taxi and I roll the windows down. I'm just living my best life. And the taxi just rolls up the windows and locks the doors. And I'm oh. And it's you know, this area is really dangerous.
Oh.
And I was like, oh. I was like, oh. I was like,
you could have been kidnapped and sold
I
into
could
sexual
have,
slavery.
You would have
like-
lost a kidney.
He's like, you shouldn't be walking here.
And you're like, can I get out of here?
It's a whole different episode of Chopped.
He's like, you shouldn't be walking here. And I was like,
Good thing
my
you're
God,
driving
I
me.
didn't know.
And then
Yeah.
you had sex.
I wish. It was really cute.
Let me thank you.
Gracias.
Gracias. Yeah, he was really cute. So yeah, I did a pop in Colombia. It was honestly great, and there was a lot of gay customers, or guests, sorry, and they were like, "Oh my God, you're one of us," and I was like, "Yes, I am." Like, talk about hair flip. They're like, "You're one of us," and I was like, "They're like, don't go back," and I was like, "Oh my God, I wish I could stay," you know. But yeah, Colombia was phenomenal. The food was great. The people I met were great. I partied 2 days in a row, which was also very fun. And you know, people aren't so used to in Colombia or anywhere in Latin America to wear glitter and stuff. So I put some glitter on my eyes, and everybody was just staring at me.
Oh.
I don't know if they liked it or because they hated me, but everybody was just staring, and I was like, "Oh, this is great." You know, I wanted to be popular. Yeah, Colombia was fun, and then I went to Mexico for a little bit for my cousin's wedding, and then back over here just chilling until I go back.
Okay.
To Lake Elsinore.
Yeah, to Lake Elsinore.
Do you have any questions for him?
Yeah, so I wanted to know, like, you've obviously been in restaurants, but, like, is your preference to do sweet cooking, or, like, do you just kind of do everything?
I like to do everything.
Okay.
I do, but you know,
He already told you that he's an overachiever.
yeah, I'm an overachiever. I do it all. I run the food, I serve the food, I cook the food. I
eat the food.
I am a dishwasher. No, so I've always said, and I'm going to stick by this: is every pastry chef can cook, but not all cooks can do pastry.
But you're an overachiever, so you get it.
I can do both.
You're like a thumb. A thumb is a finger, but not all fingers are thumbs.
Correct.
But you can put it all up your butt.
Good night, everybody.
I have one more question, though. What is your signature dish?
Oh God. You know, every time they ask me this on Grindr, I always don't know what to say.
Wait, is that a question?
You looking at this cake, baby?
Wait, is it because your display name is like Chef Ass Eater?
Chef Ass Eater? No, it's not Chef Ass Eater. No, but it is a question, and I don't know if Paul, you get that when you still cook, and I don't know if you get that. There's no one thing that I'm like, okay, yes, I make a lot of croissants, and I think that's like my specialty, and because I do it really well, and I really like to do it. But you know, it's like people always ask, "Oh, what's your specialty?" or "What's your favorite dish to make?" And it's the questions like, I don't think I'm attached to one dish that I'm like, "Oh, this is my thing." Like this gets me all fired up, you know?
Yeah, there might be something that people always say, "Hey, can you make this for me?" or something, but it's not like you can bang it out in like 10 seconds, you know?
Yeah, you know,
like
I love eating food. I love all types of food. Like, depends on my mood on what I make. I definitely love beans. Like, it reminds me of
the musical
magical fruit.
I love beans. Like,
They liked you in Colombia with your beans.
yeah, to me, my favorite thing in the world is like a bowl of beans with queso fresco, salsa, and handmade tortillas.
Really?
I don't think you get any better.
That's really like
Don't
not
sit next to him
super
on a
fancy.
plane.
They wouldn't smell bad though, because it's not meat farts; they're just bean farts.
Yeah, bean farts. And you're like altitude. I don't think it really smells out there. I don't know.
Oh no, it does. But no one knows. Beep beep.
All right. So before we go and we say goodbye to Christian, we do have to do our quick fire questions. I have to think of one. Quick fire, like if you're, you know, in a kitchen like that.
Oh, rapid fire, yeah.
All right. So my first question for you is, what would your pastry drag name be?
Queen Oman.
Oh.
I already decided. Queen Oman to me is like the best drag pastry name you could ever have.
Why do I know that?
We made it. It's that.
Look, it's like a croissant dough that's like stuffed in this like mold and it's covered in sugar. So
that's
nice
right.
and it's like rich in calories. It was either that or filet mignon, but filet mignon is obviously more savory and because I thought I could make a lot of jokes with, saying filet mignon. Like, girl, you're well done. I don't know. But
Well, you got souffle over right
you
there.
got souffle, Queen Amman, Mayor Lemon.
What's yours, Joe?
Oh, God. I don't know baking things.
Donut holes.
He'd be
Glazes donut.
He'd be like donut hole puncher.
Oh, I don't know.
Mine, I brought mine up a couple episodes ago. Mine's Frangipan.
Frangipan, that's a good one.
It's hard
Miss
to
Frangie.
While he's thinking about it, what about you, Nick? What would your...
I have no idea.
Oh, my God.
I'm the wrong person.
Maybe
Clouti's
cookie?
Like,
Just cookie.
Just
I think
cookie?
mine's something to do with donut holes too.
Was what?
Or I think it has to do with like croissants because man,
it's croissant.
croissant. Give me a delicious croissant. I'm good.
Oh, no. I would be tiramisu.
Oh, look at you.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
What's your quick fire question, Joe?
Which celebrity annoys you the most?
Oh, God. When I look at them? Or just
Anything, yeah.
Who annoys me the most?
Or just like, which celebrity annoys you?
That's a tough one. Anna Kendrick.
What?
Yeah, she's not that funny.
Oh,
It's almost like you think her pitch was not perfect.
okay. Don't go into those woods.
Was she in that?
Yeah, she was.
Oh, God.
Okay, I think she did great and like Pitch Perfect, and I love that movie, don't get me wrong. But like I've seen her on talk show, like she's not that funny. Like she imitated Kristen Stewart on Jimmy Fallon, I think it was, and it just it was, I don't know, maybe both of them. Maybe they just both of them are just, you know what? Kristen Stewart.
Okay.
I just changed it. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know any of her movies.
Twilight.
I haven't seen those.
Oh.
What would yours be, Paul?
I guess James Corden.
Oh,
yeah.
I agree. He annoys
Yeah.
me.
I do like his carpool karaoke though.
But you
I
used
do.
to like him.
I did used to like him until I realized how problematic he is.
Yes.
His fame got a little like too.
And then
way
also,
too much.
like, all the stuff recently, like, he, like, got banned from a restaurant or
From
something.
Balthazar in New
Yeah.
York and stuff, yeah. What about you, Joe?
I think Kanye West.
Oh, yeah.
But also all the Kardashians.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of celebrities I don't
What
like.
about you, Nick?
Kanye West.
Andy?
Who is that YouTube guy that is a total douche nozzle?
Logan
James.
Paul?
James Charles?
Logan Paul.
Oh, Logan Paul.
I'll let a lot of them out there.
I also don't like
Are they all the
James
same
Charles. Or Jeffree Star.
Or Jake Paul.
They're brothers, right?
Yeah, and Shane Dawson and...
Yeah.
Just all the YouTubers in general.
Yeah, exactly.
Just all of them.
Any celebrity.
Anyone
Joey
that's ever-
Lawrence.
Anyone that's
That's
ever
my name.
called
Oh, and Joe
himself-
Rogan.
Joey Lawrence, I saw on Do Chicago. He was what's the role? The main role.
Oh, okay, yeah, the lawyer or something in Chicago?
And he was dancing with his he had a walking stick
Yeah.
thing, and he tripped and it fell into like the audience, and he made a big deal about it.
Oh
And
my
I was
God.
like, oh, Joey Lawrence.
Speaking of
He
Joey
still is good
Lawrence,
to look at though.
Joey Lawrence, his brother, I think it's Matt Lawrence,
Yeah, he's the handsome one.
is dating, wait for it, Chili from TLC.
Oh.
If
What?
that is not a 90s reunion you didn't know you needed, there you go. I know, right?
Oh my God!
Look at them. Chili still looks good, too. I'm sorry. She was like, go
Damn.
on and get it, girl. Okay, last question, Christian. If you were a plated dessert, what would you be?
A plated dessert.
As opposed to not plated?
Well, like, when I say plated dessert, it's not like you can't be a pudding
Oh.
or something. It's
But
like,
is pudding on a plate?
Well, no.
it's in a bowl.
But on a plate?
Girl.
Can't all desserts be plated?
My cop-out answer is anything that Andy makes.
You're
there's all
a waffle pancake with lemon curd. Can't even.
You know what? Which dessert I would be that I always love eating? If you guys ever go to Estella, which is in New York, they have this chocolate cake.
Okay.
And it's a super, like, warm and moist cake and it has a little bit of black sesame praline right on top. And they like brulee it so it's nice and crispy. So it's like a nutty flavor to it. And then they top it with a just whipped cream. No sugar, no nothing. And honestly, it's like it's fudgy and indulgent and light and fluffy, and it's honestly the best dessert.
Ooh, it looks
Okay.
It's like, and it's just so simple, but it's just like so much character to it, you know?
See?
It's so good. It's so good.
What about you, Joe?
I'm trying to think of
Just a hostess cake on a
desserts
plate.
that I would
A Twinkie.
a cookie on a plate. No, I'm trying to think of like desserts. Well, I mean, it's not from a restaurant, but like in San Francisco, there's a pastry place that's called Victoria's Pastry, and they have a really good Napoleon. So maybe that.
Because he's got layers.
Oh, yeah.
I'm also an ogre onion.
I think, Andy, where would we have that? Was it the restaurant at Meadowood where they did like an olive oil
ice cream.
Olive oil ice cream with the olive oil in it and everything. Like that to me was like such a cool, earthy, like weird texture.
Citrusy, peppery.
Right. Very delicious like dessert. And I was like, the fuck is this? It blew my mind at the time. And that was like, years ago, but it was like one of my first 3-star restaurant experiences. And to have a dessert like that, it was just like, that was amazing. And I still think about it.
That was the
You still
standout
dreaming
course.
about it?
Right, yeah, I'm still thinking about it now.
Yeah.
That's why I brought it up.
I think
I was Italian now with my hands. What about you, Nick?
I love anything like custardy.
Okay.
I really do, because like it's hard to like the double boil thing, or like you have to,
Come
like,
on, creme
you
glaze.
have to like put it in slowly, like just to appreciate the work that goes into making that kind of dessert. Because it can also be really nasty if it's
if it's all of a sudden scrambled eggs.
yeah. So like there's like an element like the finesse.
What about you, Andy?
So mine's nostalgic. Four Seasons in Dallas used to make this amazing dessert, and it was a pistachio timbale, chocolate and pistachio, tiny little like tower of that fudgy, rich, decadent chocolate with pistachio all through it. And then the plate was creme anglaise with like a little chocolate spider web drawn on it. And at the time, it was like the first art cuisine I ever saw. It was just amazing.
I do not hate a spider web kind of design on a creme anglaise and chocolate.
With like
like somebody took a toothpick and just went right through it on the plate. I'm
like
like,
the coolies everywhere, like Culinary School 101, right?
hey, that's cool. Well, Christian, thank you so much for being on our show. We really love it. How can people find you on the socials?
So you can follow me on Instagram. It's Christian the First, Christian without an H.
yeah, don't make the mistake.
So it's Cristian.
Okay. The only H in that is in the.
And the. Yes. So it's Christian the First.
And the H in first is silent.
Yeah.
And then we'll keep everybody posted on where you land in New York, where restaurants, so they can come see you.
Oh my god, I was like, he's gonna land at
patronize.
JFK.
It's like LaGuardia or JFK.
Ew, do not LaGuardia.
It's the worst.
Why
It's
not?
gotten better though.
Why not
No, it has
Newark?
not.
'Cause you
Kennedy,
know-
LaGuardia. Or Kennedy, what is it?
Kennedy, LaGuardia,
Davenport.
Ortiz. All right, everyone, have a great week.
Bye.
Special thanks to Andrew Smith and Nick Stone for producing the show. If you like us, please follow us at TUGazepod on Instagram and visit us online at tugazepod.com. You can find us anywhere you can stream podcasts. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know topics you'd like to hear. And always remember, stay safe, stay classy, stay sassy, and always stay a little bit trashy. See you next week.